Here are the items you're going to need to set up the Falcon Player on the Raspberry Pi. Of course, you need the Pi, and the Falcon Christmas site lists the models it says will work, and I've added the version 3 Model B. The site doesn't say that yet, and then also the Falcon Christmas recommends or prefers the version 2 or the version 3 I've added. So here's the items you'll need to set up the Falcon Player to run on your Pi. First, you need a flash drive, a 4 gig or higher USB flash drive. That'll be used to store your shows and schedules, but also for Falcon Player log files. Next, you need a microSD card, at least an 8 gig or higher, and that'll be used to store the Falcon Player operating system that the Pi will run on. Then get an adapter for the microSD card that makes it a little easier to handle. Then you need a card reader, and if you don't have one built into your PC or laptop, you can get a external device plugs into USB that will read those cards. Then you need an HDMI cable for the monitor to hook the monitor of the Pi. You need an internet cable to hook the Pi to your router. You need a 5 volt, 2.5 amp USB power supply that has a micro USB connection. And then of course the monitor. And then you should get a keyboard and a mouse, a USB powered one. You may not need it, but nice to have, and plug it in while the Pi is booting. Okay, there's going to be 4 general steps to set up the Pi for Falcon Player. First, on your laptop or PC, you need to format the thumb drive and format the microSD card with a unique application. Second, you need to download from the Falcon Christmas site Falcon Player and load that onto the microSD card. Then you place that microSD card into the Pi, you connect all the other devices, the keyboard, the monitor, and the power up the Pi, and it will run and extract the image from the card and create a operating system on the microSD card. And then note the IP address that Falcon Player or your router will assign to your Pi, and you'll see that at the end as you log in, after the login's done. And then go back to your laptop or PC, open a browser, and type in that IP address that your router assigned to the Pi and hit enter. And this will launch Falcon Player on the Pi. And it's in here that you can do everything you need to do. Like the first thing you should do is check for and make any updates to Falcon Player, and then reboot the Pi. Now we got to format the flash drive and the microSD card. So get your hands on both of them, the thumb drive, at least 4 gig, and the microSD card. So on your PC, format the flash drive. So plug the flash drive into a USB port and just confirm that Windows sees it from the file directory. Right click on that drive and select format, and that will bring up this screen. So on this screen or window, confirm that the file system is FAT32, type in media as the volume label, and then leave quick format checked and click the start button. Wait about 10 seconds, and when it's done, click on close. Next, we're going to format the microSD card on your PC. So place the microSD card into your card reader, and again, just confirm that Windows sees it. And then go to the Falcon Christmas website, click on the link to Falcon Player FPP, then click on the link to Falcon Player install instructions, and then find the link to the SD formatter tool and click on that. That will bring up this page. Scroll to the bottom of that page and click accept, and that'll start the download of the executable file. So when that's done, click on that executable file, and that'll launch an install wizard. When the install wizard is done, click finish, and it will automatically launch the SD formatter. And in the SD formatter window, just confirm the microSD card is selected there at the top. Then click quick format, type in boot as the name of the volume, and then click format and click yes. When the formatting is complete, click on OK. That'll close the window, and then just leave the card in your PC. The next step is to download the latest release of the Falcon Player as an image, actually, onto your PC. Install that image on the SD card and then transfer the SD card to the Pi. To get the installation disk on the SD card, you go to the Falcon Christmas website, the same place you got the SD formatter, and find and click on the link to Falcon Player. It should be near the top of the page. After it's done downloading the file, find it. It may be in your taskbar. Click the up arrow and right click on the zip file and select extract all. Then browse for, as the destination, the SD card and click extract. This will actually download the contents of that zip file directly onto your microSD card. Now when it's done downloading it onto your SD card, you should have a couple folders that named OS and default, along with a number of other files that were downloaded onto the SD card. Then you can remove the SD card and the flash drive from your PC. It's safe to tell Windows you're going to do that by right-clicking on each and selecting eject before you pull them out of the PC. So next, you want to get that SD card into your Pi. So insert the card into the Pi, into the card reader, and turn the power on to your monitor, but don't connect it yet. So in this order, plug in the following. Plug in the flash drive, the keyboard, and the mouse into one of the 4 USB ports. Then connect an internet cable to the Pi that is also connected to your router or switched to your home router. It needs that internet connection. Then plug in the monitor using the HDMI cable into the Pi's HDMI port. And then the last connection is the power adapter and the micro USB power adapter into the port. If it's not already plugged in, plug in the power, and that'll launch and turn on the Pi. Let the Pi run. This will extract from the image the Falcon Player OS and install in the card, and then you're going to open up Falcon Player on your PC browser. So as the Pi runs, it'll extract from the image and create an OS, basically a Falcon Player OS on the microSD card. And you'll know the process is completely done when the monitor connected to the Pi. The last thing that appears is the FPP login prompt. The entire process took about 11 minutes on a Pi 3 Model B from powering up to that final login prompt. Your router will have assigned your Pi an IP address, so write that down, you'll need it. And then we're going to interact with the Pi on your PC. So open up a browser on your PC, and in the address bar of that browser, type in either one of these 2 addresses. Either one will open the Falcon Player on the Pi. You can either type in the IP address that your router assigned to the Pi, or http://fpp/. When that Falcon Player launches successfully, if there's a green bar at the top of the Falcon Player interface, it means there's an update available. So to get that update, click on the upgrade button. The Pi will reboot, take about 10 minutes, and it'll be done, and you'll have a new version of the Falcon Player. A couple other mentions here. You can assign a unique IP address to the Pi, and I want to talk about powering it down correctly. So in the Falcon Player on your PC, select Network from the Status Control menu item, and in the window that's presented, you select ETH0, not the wireless, unless you want to use wireless, but click on the static radio button. Then type in a unique unused IP address and tab to the next field. That'll populate network and gateway fields. And if either of those are not correct for your router, you do have to type those in. Then click on Update Interface, and you're done. So you can disconnect your Pi from the internet. You really only need to connect the Pi to the internet if one, you want to get updates to the Falcon Player, or you want to let the Pi know what the current date and time is. So the Pi does not have an on-off switch, so you got to shut it down properly so you don't corrupt any files. You do not want to cut power to the Pi before shutting it down properly, because you could corrupt the files on your thumb drive or render the Pi unbootable. So at the bottom of every Falcon Player window, there's a shutdown button. Click on that, and wait about a minute, and the Pi will properly shut down, and then you can turn off power. This begins a full video of the instructions provided earlier. The two external devices we need to format, one is the microSD card. They'll carry Falcon Player. I'm putting that in an adapter, makes it a little easier to handle, and then I'll put that into a card reader. It's hooked up to a USB port. Then the other is my thumb drive. It happens to be a 16 gigabyte thumb drive. Put that into a USB port. All right, this is the microSD card, and this is the USB flash drive. You can format the USB thumb drive by right-clicking on it, selecting format, and making sure that the format is correct, FAT32 format, and then type in media as the name of the volume. I understand that might be a preference of Falcon Player. Then hit start, clear this message, and let it format. I've just put this in a note that the Raspberry Pi Foundation, who makes the Pi, last September said that the SD card formatter no longer has that size adjustment option. We'll see that here in a bit. All right, we're back at the Falcon Christmas page. We've got to get the SD formatter, so scroll down to Falcon Player link, and then scroll down to this Raspberry Pi instructions. Click that, and down here you'll see where we can download the SD formatter. And it does say you can have a format adjustment, but that's not even an option offered anymore on this new version of SD formatter. This will open this page here, SD Associates. So after you click accept, it'll download this executable file. And once that's downloaded, we'll launch it. Okay, so it's ready. I'll click on it. Opens up this wizard. Follow there, accept that, and you can select where this downloads the file. I just keep it to the default. Doesn't matter. And you can see you can launch it from this closing window now, and it ends up in my taskbar. So I click on that, and now make sure you have the microSD card picked. This is where that format adjustment used to be, but just do the quick, and make sure you type in boot as the name of the volume. And we are done here. I just wanted to show you where the SD formatter was downloaded, where I chose to download it into. It's in an SDA folder here. So if you need to launch it, you can do it from here. The next step is to download an image of the Falcon Player. It's here, it's on the same page. So click on this, and okay, it begins the download here. Okay, it's just about done here. So I click on this little up arrow and show the download in this folder. There it is. So it's a zipped file. So right click, extract all, and go select your microSD card. And select extract. And it'll begin a pretty long process, depending how big this is. So let's see what it starts at. Yeah, it's going to be slow here. All right, it's done. It's placed the Falcon Player image on my SD card. All right, I'm done for now on the PC, so I got to remove the SD card and the flash drive. So I'm just letting Windows know. Just right-click on each one and select eject. Next step is to remove both the thumb drive and the microSD card. I'm just reversing the video I had earlier. We'll take them out of the PC here and eventually put them in the Pi. Well, we need to connect all the devices to the Pi and boot it up. So first thing here, I'm putting this SD card into the Pi. Then I'll connect the USB flash drive. This is the one called Media. And then I have a keyboard here. And I'm going to connect this mouse. And this internet cable, this goes to a switch actually. It's connected to my router. The Pi needs internet access. Plug in the HDMI cable. And then plug in the power adapter, and now I'm going to go plug it in here, and I'll move the camera up here and see what we have. And there's the lovely rainbow initial booting of the Raspberry Pi. So it's going to go through some steps here. I'll fast forward over the rest of this. So it was fast forwarding there, so it's just about ready to finish it completely installing the Falcon Player. And there's the FPP login prompt. That took about 11 minutes total to boot up. And now the key is the IP address that my router assigned to the Pi is right there, 192.168.1.103. All right, so I'm in a browser on my PC. I'm going to type in that IP address, 192.168.1.103. And there we go. I'm on my PC using a browser, and I've connected to the Falcon Player on the Pi using the IP address. So the first thing I see is this green bar at the top. That indicates there's an update available to the Falcon Player. And there's the current version that I have loaded on the Pi. I'm going to first show how to set a static IP on the Pi. You go through the network here and click on this button, and you can type in a static IP address that works for your network. I'm just going to use the same one. My router happened to assign it. You can use another one. But so that's how you would set the static IP. So to get the newer version of the Falcon Player, click on the upgrade button. And when I did that, I'm looking now at the second monitor that's connected to my Pi, and it shows that the Pi is now rebooting. And in that reboot process, the Pi is still connected to my router, so it has internet access, and it will be downloading and installing a newer version of the Falcon Player. Okay, the Pi looks like it's almost done rebooting. Okay, I've got the latest version of Falcon Player now installed. Here's where you can set the date and time and your time zone on the Falcon Player.